So pour a glass of craft beer, we can do this. Yeah.
What's good, y'all? This is C, certified brewhead.
I am Tiffany, liquid enthusiast.
And welcome to the first episode of a new series we're doing here on YouTube called Stout Sessions. As you saw, Wednesday, we have a strict drinking regimen. Wednesdays...
Yours is a bit more strict than mine, let's be honest.
I'm trying to behave myself.
Yeah.
On Wednesdays, it's typically an off night for me. So what we started doing was at the very end of the night, I was like, I can have, a big stout that, crack open something from the cellar. Sometimes Tiff would split it with me. Sometimes I could rock it to myself because I haven't had any other beer. So you drink 10, 11%, full bottle, no problem. Mm-hmm. So Tiff had the idea literally like an hour ago.
Yeah.
And was like, why don't we do Stout Sessions? And we'll start this new series.
Yeah, I just randomly threw it out there.
Yeah.
That's the word. Alliteration, and then you just go with it. Yeah.
It's perfect. So we thought, you know what? It's a bit more laid back, slightly different scene than usual. We'll drink a big stout and we'll just chat about something. And we've got a bunch of ideas. Love to hear what you guys would like us to talk about. We want to talk about sort of more, I was going to say esoteric, but more like...
That's pretty deep.
It's way too deep.
Just random. I would say random topics, maybe hot topics, maybe
controversial stuff.
Maybe just long-lasting questions, like huge, just big questions, big picture questions.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think smoothie beers are dead already, so we don't need to address that now, but that would have been a big question before they died.
Relax.
They're dead now.
Wow.
Oh, okay, so I'll add that to the list of topics to talk about. Are they dead now?
No, they're the greatest. Okay, so anyway, that's going to be the type of stuff. The beer we chose for this evening is Bellwoods 2017 Skeleton Key with coffee. It has Ace Espresso from Propeller. What I did was I got all three of the 2017 releases. My friend Gord, who works at Bellwoods, yelled at me from time to time.
Shout out Gord,
but he was like, dude, stop sitting on it, just drink the damn thing. And it was just, I didn't, it's 10.5%, very likely higher than that.
Yeah.
Didn't really have the bandwidth for it a lot of the time. So they have dropped a bit. He told me they would, but it's very enjoyable, very decadent. A great way to set off. With the cellar beer.
Yeah.
The very first stout session. So, you want to tell them about what we're talking about tonight? Well, first of all, cheers. Cheers. I hope you guys have a big stout with us too. Eh?
Yeah, join us with a stout. Anytime after 12 p.m., you're pretty good to go.
Yeah, Noah always used to do it by 4 p.m. Maslow's crazy.
Oh, that's great.
And get that last little dash.
And I would even actually say 12 p.m. because remember we were drinking with when we were doing that beer festival in Michigan. We had a nice breakfast stout, and that laid the foundation for success for the entire. I think that's
I've never felt that good.
I've never felt that good. Yeah, we were just
amazing.
fantastic the entire. We just had a great stride.
Check out that vlog.
Oh yeah,
the Michigan 2017.
Oh my gosh,
vlog.
we almost died on that trip. So if you want to get something interesting to look at, we took a death cab.
Didn't we put it on recently? I think we just had it.
Yeah, it was really
YouTube.
fun to see. Yeah. I like the vlogs for that reason because it's kind of especially when we're all not traveling really as much. It's
nice to reminisce.
You get to reminisce, so it's cool.
So, the topic for this evening is what are the best breweries in Canada?
Yes.
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 Or who are the best breweries in Canada? Maybe might be the better proposition there. Preposition?
Yeah. And then I actually would like to explore what's the best region? Who's making the best beers? Not just individual breweries, but is there a specific region? And then why would that be happening?
So should we start with the individual breweries and then go to regions?
You had your own, so I'd be curious about your own list, and then maybe we can go into the overall consensus based on large platforms that we're gonna use as the
data.
Exactly.
Based on ratings and actual stuff. So I made this list very quickly without overthinking it. Just some of my personal favorite breweries who I think really are the best. The first few, Bellwoods, of course. Drinking these guys right now. I think they've had their ups and downs over the years, but lately they've been back in form. Their haze, honestly, unfortunately, took a bit of a dive. Now it's been so much better. I've had almost everything Bellwoods has
so it was a period of time. How long would you say?
Don't want to be mean, but 2 years was pretty average. To the point
where
I was
that's the type of stuff I
disappointed.
saw online, people saying as well.
Yeah, and I was Bellwoods changed my life. They really are responsible for everything in Canada. I just think they're the greatest. Yeah. So them being anything less than phenomenal was hard to deal with.
What would have happened?
I'm not too sure. maybe Luke backed away too much, or they changed some processes or
Yeah.
something. Cut costs.
Could be
cut
growing
corners.
pains.
Growing pains because
Yeah.
they opened Hafers, but they were killer
Reminds me of
Hafers
Heady
for me.
Topper. Same thing.
That is
Alchemist
true.
had that, where all of a sudden Heady Topper was not Heady Topper for like a good 2 years, probably too.
I'd love to try it now.
Yeah. No, it was amazing when we went back. The most recent time, remember when we went
Yeah,
back?
it
It
was
was
back to normal.
great again.
Yeah.
And it was, I remember by the time we went to Single Pebble, is that what it's called?
Correct.
Yeah,
It was
that's
great.
awesome. If you're in Vermont ever, like just fantastic Chinese restaurant.
Burlington.
Like best Chinese restaurant is just like
Ever,
incredible.
actually.
Like,
Yeah.
and you get to drink Heady Topper while you're at a Chinese restaurant. It's
God, yeah.
perfect. Then that was like beautiful. I remember it just being like so fantastic. So I think they got their stride too. So it could have been
The growing pain situation.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Four Winds out in Delta, British Columbia. Adam and Brent, they're awesome dudes, super supportive of our music as well. Love those guys. But the beers are phenomenal. I've been into them since long before. I only met them this year, and me and Brad. But their beers are just exceptional. They do everything, from barrel-aged stuff, whether it's stouts or mixed firm stuff, lagers, IPAs, everything. Just beautiful branding too. I just love their whole package.
Yeah.
Everything they do is phenomenal, and it's just exquisite. Like, I've still got a couple of their beers floating around because I don't know. It's really hard to get. So
Yeah.
Half Hours on Earth. This is
R.I.P. Right?
R.I.P. Unfortunately, they basically have sold out of beer. They've stopped making beer. They were one of the greatest breweries in Canada ever. I think, as far as their innovation, they did every style incredible.
Yeah.
Really, really killed it. So for them dying, it's just or going, moving in a different
It's
direction.
like literally not dying, like actually choosing. Talk about leaving on a high note. That's like
Yeah.
leaving in season 4 or 5 of like the greatest series or something like that. And you're just like, you don't want to. You live long enough, you become the villain.
Yeah.
So you just hit it out on the high note and just head on out.
Do what you need to do. And
Good for them. They'll always just be fondly remembered, and I'm good for them for following their passion.
I agree.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. Small Pony, shouts to Sean up in Canada. They do amazing barrel aged stuff. All their sours are phenomenal. Just killer stuff. Always consistent. Never had even an average beer from them. Sean is amazing what he
For
does.
anyone that we've interviewed, we should put it in the description of this too.
Great idea.
Yeah.
I'll make sure I do
The
that.
podcast.
Yep.
Yeah.
Godspeed in Toronto. Shouts to Luke. Best Crispies in the game in Canada, hands down.
Without
just
question.
God tier.
Just flawless.
Pun
Just
intended.
like that's when I learned like really like what refined
beer
beer
can be.
really was. Yeah. It's just you just taste. It's meticulous. It's everything that. It's so a part of the culture as well. Like he is. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just, I was
what
like,
it is.
it's just flawless.
It's God tier. I'm gonna go through Orval here in Quebec. I haven't had that many beers from Orval, but everything I have had has been pretty exquisite. I would like to try more. Probably had half a dozen beers from them, which really isn't much.
They're not producing a lot of beer.
They're not doing. They're
So it's
doing the
hard.
same ones sort of pretty regularly, and they're in Val d'Espoir. We went out there last
Yeah, I remember.
year.
It's great.
And we got 2 beers because that's what they had. I got 2 of each. I could have got more, I guess, but I wasn't super interested.
Yeah.
I would have rather get 2 of many beers, but that's
course.
just not how they work.
Yeah.
And they're just hard to get otherwise. And it's 10 to 12 hours drive, so we ain't doing that on the reg.
Probably not going to be there again anytime soon.
No, unfortunately, but they're amazing. I'll be a bit quicker now. It's from the newer sort of vibes of breweries. We've got Bar Canada, everything I had from them. I had a few of their beers recently, which I don't get very often. I was like, this is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Stuff. I really love it. Brewski here in Montreal, Derek and Guillaume killing the game.
Always.
They invented the smoothies. So
Fantastic
here
people.
in Canada.
Yeah,
Here in
okay.
Canada.
Yeah.
Hayes game, incredible. Their Crispies, their Stouts, everything phenomenal.
They were so ahead of the game with the smoothies.
Well, they started it.
Yeah.
In Canada,
Yeah.
I believe.
It's
at
just
least.
Not
Not even just Quebec, like Canada. We got Masora and Brassatorium also here in Montreal. Vincent, Marc-Andre. We've actually interviewed almost all of these guys.
Yeah.
Killing it. Everything. Fire, branding, beers, whole works. Phenomenal stuff.
And this
Wrote
is
through their
again
Hayes.
just an internal list before we get
It's just
to
my
the-
choice.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to run through. I just realized I'm talking too much, so I'm going to do it quick. Obviously, Third Moon, Bebo and Chris, fucking phenomenal. Only been around a year. everything, stouts, haze. They did one crispy, their smoothies, killer, insane. Best dudes out too. Sankey and Baron, I mean, come on. Of
course.
Jacob,
You know the
Dimitri,
vibes.
Steven, the team out there, Chris.
Yeah, Chris.
Just exceptional. Everything is just exceptional. I've never experienced anything like that where
So
every
good.
style is
So
so good.
happy
I'm
to
not
be
even
working
exaggerating.
with them and be friends with them. It's just very cool.
Yeah.
Very proud.
Dudes are the best.
Yeah.
Barncat out of the Nails in Cambridge. I don't know them well. I've spoken to Matt a few times, but their stuff is phenomenal. Everything I've had from their stouts, the haze primarily. Don't get my hands on them much, but A1 stuff. Superflux in BC. They're, color and shape and Easy Tiger and pretty much, all those type of beers are just exceptional. So fucking well made. Just bomb. And they've opened their tap room, so I'd love to try and get my hands on some more of their stuff. GDCL here in Montreal. I mean,
Okay, I actually didn't see your list, and I was like, "Are you gonna say GDCL, or is that gonna be the one I add randomly?"
no,
Okay.
I mean that's super important. You can keep going.
Very important.
Obviously Pêché Mortels. So we'll do another video on the best beers in Canada too.
Yeah.
But Pêché is arguably the best beer in Canada, period, of all time. No questions asked. Plus I do everything else fire. Blood Brothers, so Pat and the team out there, my boy Matty,
That's my
Aussie,
top
working
three.
in now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just bomb. And they're some of the best dudes.
Top three in
I
Canada.
fucking love Pat. Such a champion.
Yeah.
And now my other friend Matt is working there. He's Aussie. He was at Collective
Collective,
Arts.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know Matty.
cool.
Yeah. So I was talking to him the other day. So he's loving it there. Badlands. I actually don't know these dudes, but they're out in Caledon, Ontario. So I think that's in the where we were. Remember that time? Yeah, near Niagara-ish, like west of Toronto. Haze, basically all I've had from them is Haze, and it's all insane. Dominion City, fuck.
Yeah,
Josh,
forever.
Scott, and the team out there, phenomenal stuff. Everything
Full
they
package.
do, full package. Branding,
Branding,
humanitarian
human
shit.
branding, culture, quality of product, everything.
Everything.
Just flawless package.
Never had a bad beer from them.
Yeah.
God, they're good. We have Town Brewery, Jeff, Andy, team out there, just
Love
phenomenal.
forever.
Know them since the beginning, fortunately, and just seen them grow and get better and better and better and better and better. Loving their direction. And finally, I had here Rorschach, Matt, and the folks out there. We did a great collab with them earlier this year. Just underrated. I feel like these people don't talk about Rorschach as much.
Yeah, and that's fair. And they make
stouts, lagers,
incredible
IPAs,
stouts,
everything.
love for sure, IPAs for sure. Yeah,
So good.
Yeah. What I'm more interested even in talking about though is like, why do you think?
They're the best.
Yeah, they're the best. There's so many breweries. Like, what do you think is is there a common thread?
Between all of these breweries,
Yeah.
that's a really good thing. I think it's the consistency of quality, and because we're fortunate to be in a position where we drink so many different beers, because of the nature of what we do. I feel like we try so much, and I'm able to pretty easily determine between the consistent breweries, the breweries that improve, and the breweries that are on the opposite. And I feel like that these guys, at least, not everyone hits every single time.
Yeah.
And I don't have everything from everybody, obviously. But these ones, the majority of the beers that I've had from all of these people probably was at 10 to 15 breweries. I just A1. I just so
High
phenomenal.
tier.
And you like high tier, like God tier, the best. You just drink, you take a sip, and you're like, fuck me, that is amazing.
And you don't think overall hype affects anything. Do you think hype, and this is also another question,
Maybe we should.
Are there hype breweries that actually don't have good beer? Is that a possibility, do you think? Or do you think the hype is just created specifically only because the product is good? Like dad shoes, for example. Those are ugly shoes.
Now I like the
Yeah,
Kanye
those-
700s, the Yeezys.
They feel kind of like these are ugly shoes, but there's a hype around them, so that's what makes everybody want them and what makes them in demand, despite that they look ridiculous. However, do you think that... New Balance
me, I
fans,
agree.
I'm out
Oh,
there,
me,
and you...
okay, yeah.
But I wonder, are there bad breweries that have hype, or do you really think that it is always tied? Like the hype doesn't come from anything else. It's not marketing. It's not branding. It's not doing something else. It's because the beer is good, and that's why everybody runs to it.
There's never been a hype brewery with shit branding. Think about that. So let's do
So
the
I have them
Untappd
written
list.
here.
So,
so I
this is
did,
the top 10 in Canada on Untappd currently as of now, which is
Yeah.
October 28th, 2021.
Yeah. So top 10. Brett and Sauvage.
Number 1.
Yeah.
Out in Quebec.
Out in Quebec. This is in order of appearance. Brett and Sauvage. Brasserie de Bas Canada.
Quebec.
Wood Brothers.
Ontario.
It's almost like Quebec, really.
Basically Quebec.
Nano Cinco.
Quebec.
Temporal Artisanales.
Temporal, I forgot where they are. I've heard of them. Probably BC
I can
or
find
something.
out. Masorum.
Quebec.
Badlands.
Ontario.
Oval.
Quebec,
Third Moon.
Ontario.
It always makes me feel good to see people I love like
In this, right?
getting recognized. But yeah, Third Moon, Robin,
Quebec.
EXP Artisan Bresser.
Quebec. That is probably like 70 to 80% Quebec.
That is so interesting, eh?
So,
Because I felt like when we were here, like when we first moved here, we've been here for nearly a decade now. I feel like when we first moved here, like Quebec was like nothing that anybody was really talking about unless you were like obsessed with like Belgian beers or traditional styles.
correct.
And now they're taking up like 60% or something of a list of top
Best in
breweries.
Canada.
Best
I think
in
that
Canada.
says a
So
lot.
I wonder what.
So-
I wonder why. Like, what do you think?
What makes them good?
Yeah, like, or what do you think happened? Like, what do you think changed? Like, why are they the?
Yeah, probably. I think that's a good tipping point sort of thing. I wish I remembered more of it. Even though I
Yeah.
just finished reading it, I kind of remember. Connector, I think, was the one where people connect everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But the Quebec was, in my opinion, yeah, like you said, very traditional. Lots of farmhouse Belgian Imperial barrel
Yeah.
stouts and stuff like that, which are cool. But they didn't really do much else. Like they really stuck with that, and they were very traditional. Even like the Roos. I know we're Team Roos all day. But like it's a pretty ridiculous style, and that like who gives a fuck about that?
Yeah.
So they just wouldn't. They refused to change and move with the times, and that was a problem. And I don't think they realized. I think they had their heads up their own ass for a long time. I think a lot of that's the political issues between the provinces and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So we were going to Ontario so much. I never bought beer in Quebec at all. We went to Ontario, and I brought stuff back all the time, whether it's from podcasts, and we were doing all the podcasts there too to begin with. Even
Yeah.
though we lived here, we took years before we really focused on Quebec. I mean, we did. It started because of Glutenberg,
Yeah.
which we talked about in our podcast we dropped today.
Mm-hmm.
But the actual real, there wasn't much here that was moving us to go and talk to these people.
Yeah.
And then I was
Like I felt like we were not showing the province a lot of
Never.
love.
and we didn't. That's why it took us a while. We weren't getting
Yeah.
on any PR lists here. I don't think they were doing it as early as
No, I don't think so either.
Ontario anyway.
Yeah.
But they just weren't moving with the times. So like I was like, why can't I go and get a good hazy IPA? Whereas like in Toronto, you can go to Bellwoods around the corner. You go to Burdock. You can whatever. There's a whole bunch of places. I don't know why I just thought of those two, but just in that immediate area.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a bunch more now where you can get fire beer all the time. And I just felt like here it wasn't the same. Now
Yeah.
it could be that tipping point of around the Missouri time about 2 years ago when Brewski got their brew house at about 2 months
Because
after
I feel
Missouri.
like Brewski's like a leader in the movement of. Actually, when you think about it, that's why we did the Against the Grain.
We did
And
that.
they were our
They
first episode.
one.
Because it was like, oh, you're the ones that are like, oh, nah, you come into Quebec and you want to drink these like beers, like you're going to be talking about it in different places. Like,
Yes,
that's what,
but you know what's interesting? Derek from Brewski and Marc Andre and Vincent from Missouri were like us.
Yeah,
They went to the States all the time to get beer. I don't
Yeah.
know if they were going to Ontario, but they weren't getting it locally.
Yeah.
So they solved their own problem. Like any successful business, they solved the problem in
and
the
we're
market.
also like very perfectly positioned in Quebec because you get to go to like New
best
England
position, I
all
think.
together, so you get to enjoy. I think, oh my gosh, without
in
question,
Canada, I
it's
think
the best.
Montreal and Quebec City are the two best positioned
I
places.
agree.
I think Montreal is more so than Quebec City
I
because
agree.
we're 2 hours from Ottawa, 2 hours from Burlington, 5.5 or 5 hours-ish from Toronto.
Yeah,
And then
and then 5
2 and
hours
3
from New York, and then you can go to Boston. You can go. It's like all very easy on this side. We're just closer.
Very, very much so. So
Yeah.
I think that all plays a role, and I think maybe it's like it all came to like a head. Like it was the traditionalist, and then all these people were discovering beer and started traveling for beer, and they come back home here to Quebec, and they got mad.
Yeah,
And some of those people started a brewery.
thank goodness.
Or they put the pressure on, or
Yeah.
I imagine it was something like that. Like that people are trading all the time, and it's cool. Everyone wants Oval. They do Nordette, like they're in New England, which is great. But it's not hype like that.
No.
Like all their other beers are hype. They know New England. It was fine. It was cool, but it wasn't like world changing
Yeah.
when we got it.
Yeah,
So I really think it's just in the last year or so maybe I've been like proudly saying that Quebec is the greatest beer market in
Yeah.
Canada, followed very closely by Toronto and Vancouver.
I think like even at having the pandemic and being like, oh, like we're not short for like fantastic liquids here.
it was even harder
by
to
any
get it
means.
though because of the pandemic. But yes,
Yeah,
you're right.
and stuff like that. Yeah, but in general, it's just like, oh, like we're in a great place.
Yes, we
Because
are.
you travel so much, and then sometimes you forget what's going on at home. And then I think the pandemic was kind of like, oh, we're in a really good place.
Yeah, the reason I think Quebec is the best is we have the best of everything here. I think there's certain things that, say, Ontario doesn't have. They don't have a lot of the farmhouse stuff that we have here. And like
true.
they don't have an Orval.
Even Godspeed is a top list, and he's from Quebec. So
Lucas from here, from Gatineau, yeah. And he was working at Judas CL and stuff. So yeah, exactly. There's another Quebec dude went to Toronto, changed the fucking game. He went to Japan and did all this stuff out there. So, you know, there's some really genuinely phenomenal stuff everywhere. Like, you know, but basically between those three provinces, in my opinion, there's some other great stuff elsewhere in Canada, like New Brunswick or Trailway, loving what they're doing. There's definitely some stuff in
Trailway's awesome.
Nova Scotia, like I think Two Crows are out there. They're doing great stuff. Kilter in Winnipeg, doing great shit. Establishment, Outcast, I think out there as well, doing some really good stuff. You know, I think there's some great breweries everywhere, and I think those ones are all a little bit more up and coming. All those markets.
But Quebec's got a concentration of like Legendary and Ontario.
I think that's it. Legendary, and new. The new kids that are driving all the popularity. I think that could be really what it is. Is that perfect mix? I think elsewhere has it too. But Quebec has, like, you know, 30-year legends, 20-year legends. UDCL is 25 or whatever it is. Something like that. So, I think we're in a really great space in Canada for craft beer. And then we're only going up. We're just going to keep introducing new people to the industry. Diversify it, you know, bring in more folks to grow it, because it's beautiful. There's some amazing products, and everyone needs to try them.
100%.
So guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the episode, smash the thumbs up, hit subscribe below, hit the notification bell so you know when the new drops. Follow us on social media at BAOS Podcast. Check out the long form audio. We have podcasts going live every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. And, you know, follow us and subscribe and all that shit on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all of that. We'll see you guys in the next episode.
Bye.
Get it in ya.